Yo, yo, yo. Hey, guys, welcome back to another awesome edition of the Best Practices Show podcast. In the previous episode with Miranda Beeson, we walked you through the process of how to sharpen your vision as a dentist. Well, today, it's part 2. We go deeper into defining your core purpose with an amazing coach on our team. Her name is Carlie Einarson, and I'm here to tell you firsthand, the more you do this work, the work transforms everyone's life. This is so powerful. So please listen up. I hope you guys enjoy this, and we'll see you soon. Hey guys, welcome back to the Best Practices Show podcast. You know the jam. I should have a jam to explain the jam. Is like the goal of this podcast, because we love dentistry so much, is to give you great information so that you can go back and create a better practice and a better life from some of the best coaches, speakers, teachers anywhere in the world. And I have an amazing coach on today, Carlie Einarson, and we're going to be talking about how to step further into sharpening your vision. Now, if you're listening to the podcast, you're going to see there's a prequel. Did I say that one? There's a prequel to this episode, and it's with Miranda Beeson on how to sharpen your vision. It was part 1. And in part 2, which we're going to do right now, we're going to go deeper into these concepts and actually break this down. And today, we're going to go into defining your core purpose. So, Carlie, thanks for being on. I appreciate you.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I'm excited.
Yeah, I'm excited too. This stuff is so exciting for us. And so let's do this. Let's start at the top and why having a defined core purpose, which is an element of sharpening your vision, is so important. What do you think?
So there's several reasons why it's really important. And one being it drives consistency in your decision-making of your practice. It also fosters team motivation and retention and strengthens patients' trust. So it comes back to all three kind of areas of what you or who you are as a business owner, right? Your ownership and your decision-making, your retention, your team members, your team, and your patients and what we're there to do with patients. So it's huge. And it comes to all three. Decision-making, I would say it's like the guiding principle that helps make every decision. So it's kind of like that North Star.
Right.
Yeah. And it helps with business strategies, alignment, especially if there's multiple leaders, and just brings out those values and that consistency in your business.
Yeah, absolutely. I can't say enough about this one. And in the last podcast, we talked about the importance of consistency. You use the word consistent. Now, I was not the most consistent person, and still am not, but one of the things I've learned is that consistency is powerful. It's power in influence. It's powerful in motivation. It's powerful in purpose. And so the signature of mediocrity is chronic inconsistency. Think about that for a second. The more consistent you are about what matters, which is what we're talking about today, your core purpose, you're going to see people will buy into it. Because you might say it once, and then you change directions and you chase something else, and then you come back to it a year later, and they're like, was that really important? It's so powerful when you can make decisions daily that you say, this is our why, and you're consistent about it, and people go, oh, I heard that once. Oh, I heard it a second time. Oh, I heard it a third time. Wow, I've heard that like 4 times. That must be important to you. About the 30th time you say it, they're like, I think I've heard that before. And here he goes when you say it the 100th time. So you got to be okay with being the chief repeating officer. You do it at home, you do it in a great business, and when you anchor into this stuff, it has power. Now, one more thing, and I promise, Carlie, I won't hijack this podcast, I think. Okay. Your business, your practice is going to evolve. Like, it's not the same practice that you had 10 years ago. Now you got different people, you've learned more, you have a higher level of expectations. And as your business evolves, The core purpose really shouldn't change. Maybe you have more clarity around it. Maybe it has more power to it, but that's where it comes. It's always important, but this is where you as a leader can be incredibly consistent. Talk about this, Carlie. It really does motivate the team and retain team members. But how? Like, why? Like, speak to that.
Well, I would say I'm here at ACT because better practice, better life, right? That's what ACT is known for. That is the core purpose of ACT. That is what you came up with, for this business, right? And those things, just like Apple has a core purpose, Southwest has a core purpose, Disney has a core purpose, they're all pretty known, right? And certain people want to work there because that core purpose resonates with them and it's something that's very motivating to them and it brings fulfillment. So me here coaching my clients, helping them have a better practice, which has a better life for them, brings me fulfillment, right? So it's motivating to the staff, the team, job satisfaction. It just leads to higher retention rates. And I don't know, I think overall it's great for everybody to be on the same page and know, the core purpose of what we're working towards.
Yeah, I can't say enough about, I love what you just said. And I can't say enough about meaningful work. We're in a world where we're starving for significance. We're looking for something to do that matters. And so creating meaningful work, a big piece of it is your core purpose. When you anchor in something that matters, it's got to be bigger than we do digital dentistry. Okay, so it's not a technology. It's like a big purpose that doesn't just fix teeth. It changes people's lives. It changes your lives. And I think it's amazing knowing that we spend 30% of our lives at work, that we truly can create something called meaningful work. So this is a big piece of it. And all of you will be challenged with one of the biggest tasks ever, which is finding, hiring, growing, keeping great people. And yes, pay is important. It's always important. But I'll tell you, meaning is way bigger than pay. It is. I'm just here to tell you firsthand. So this is where you can lean into that. What else is important to know about the why of core purpose?
I would say the patient trust as well. So having a clearly defined purpose, does bring the right patients and it communicates that to the patient. So they know what kind of care they're getting. It builds that trust. And think about when you have a business that does something really well versus doing, and again, it kind of goes back to the chief repeating officer or coming back to that consistency, right? If you have a business that does something really well, and you go there and you're spending your money to go there, you're spending your time to go there, you know what you're getting in return. And that builds trust. It builds confidence in that relationship versus if you do too many things, if you're not consistent with it, you go and you don't know the outcome as that patient or that customer, and it doesn't build that trust. So having that consistency, it builds the patient's trust each and every time they come in with you. It's not just about profit or results or anything like that. It's about the patient care and giving and providing that same thing and having everyone know it, whether it's you, team, patients, all three kind of areas of the triangle.
Absolutely. And we said this in the last one. There's 331 million people in the United States. Do you want them all as patients? Heck no. Really, as a dentist, you only need 1,200 patients, but they have to be the right type of patients. You already know this. When you get the right type of patient and you take really good care of them and they go, you're my person. I don't care what happens. You're the person I trust. I like coming here. This is the office I go to. They refer other people that already know the rules, that are very much like them. And if you're a young dentist listening to this and you're in your 30s, think about this. You have 3 decades. 3 decades of staying consistent on your core purpose, which is the big meaning behind our work. It's going to attract some pretty cool people. One last thing I'll say about this, because I absolutely love it. Your favorite people that you'll ever meet care about the same things that you care about. So in defining your core purpose, my real question is, what do you care about? And make sure that comes alive in designing this, because you're going to find other people that care about the same things that you care about. Now, you're going to meet other people, like patients, like team members, that you just don't match up. Like, we just don't have this energy. Like, I don't know if I like them or it wasn't that they were bad people. They just didn't care about the same things that you care about. So once you put your flag in the ground, which is your core purpose, and you start going into this, I'm telling you, it transforms your work. It transforms the people. And when you're consistent, I use that word again. for like 5 years, you're like, where in the heck did these people come from? This is so cool, don't you think?
Absolutely. And it comes back to the why do we exist? And that's kind of the foundational layer. So every time I get a new coaching client and I start working with a new doctor, I end up asking them, how did you get into dentistry? And I then say, why did you get into dentistry? What do you like about dentistry? What makes you passionate? What is the reason why this practice exists? And that's really gets the whole conversation going. And you kind of keep having to ask why, what, who, why again. And then it comes back around to your core purpose and that consistency.
Yeah. And so as you dig deeper, like, take this for what it's worth. My faith is really important to me. This is not a job. God created me for something. And I'm so grateful that people always ask me, like, how'd you get into industry? I don't know. I fell into it. It was a God thing. So like, I'm still trying to figure it out, but I've learned that this industry is so powerful. It is truly the greatest profession ever because you can create whatever you want to create. And we're sitting at the crossroads of becoming one of the most important healthcare professionals of all time to the rest of the world. And if you can see this clearly, you can say, I'm going to do this my way. So the real question to start with, I think you're exactly right, Carlie, is why was I put here? Like, why do I do this work? And you might need the help of a coach. You might need the help of somebody just asking you the why. But if you ask the why enough, you're going to add more and more clarity to your core purpose. And at the end of the day, I'll just give you a little insight. Like, I love helping dentists, but I could care less what they produce ultimately and how beautiful their dentistry is and like how well they're known. Look, that stuff is important in some conversations. At the end of the day, I care if people have a life, and I care if their business and their work is a reflection of who they really want to be. And nothing makes me happier than being a dentist going, I changed my hours. Man, I love my life. Or one of my favorites is meeting a child of a dentist that we worked with. And they go, you worked with my dad so many years ago. I got my dad back. Thank you so much. A woman said to me at a volleyball tournament in Lawrence, Kansas, she goes, I don't know your name. I don't even care. But I want to thank you because I got my husband back. And I was like, that's so cool. And then she walked away. I never got her name. But and I don't even know who the dentist was. But that's when you can say, and I hope you guys are getting that, as a dentist. I hope you're getting gifts. I hope you're getting some of that. And that's when you can start to put this all together. So I want you to answer this, though. We talk about core purpose and we use the word mission. What's the difference between those two? Can you explain?
Yeah, absolutely. So I would say a mission in my personal professional opinion is something that is closer to a goal, and it's something that can change over time. So ultimately, your business direction might change and your wants might change and what you're looking for might change throughout your career, right? And that mission is a little bit different. It's something that it's kind of like mission accomplished, right? It's kind of a goal. I would say that a core purpose always remains constant. It is truly the why. Why are you in dentistry? Why are you here? Why are you helping these people? What is the why? And it doesn't change.
Yeah.
It's those like baseline values, right? It's not just that goal on top.
Right. And I don't want to. I totally agree. And I don't want to freak anyone out by saying this, but like if the whole industry of dentistry was completely disrupted with a technological advancement, would your core purpose still be as powerful given the disruption? Like, for instance, let's say AI just took over in a big fashion. I hope that doesn't happen. But like if it did, you'd go, hey, our core purpose is still the same. At Act Dental, it would still be the same. Like, it's better practice, better life. Let's figure out what that means for you today. So don't make it about the technology or maybe the movement. Like a lot of people are into movements, and I think movements are great, but if that movement were to change in some respect, would it still be valid to your business? And I mean, we always use the whole thought process behind Simon Sinek. I've never forgotten this. The first time he said it, I'm like, that's totally true. He said, people don't buy what you do. They buy why you do it. And I had to listen to that a couple times. And I'm like, oh my gosh, that's a big thought. They don't buy your stuff. They don't buy your fees. They don't buy how beautiful it is. They buy the why of what you do first. Do you agree?
Just like, yeah, absolutely. It's just like people that you surround yourself with, they normally don't remember what you did. They remember how you made them feel. And it's very similar to that. That why comes to that feeling. And if you guys have the same why and the same purpose, the same values, it brings in team members, patients, everybody. And it's just that timeless like purpose that's really integrated in yourself, your organization. It's really that foundation that shouldn't change.
Yeah, go a little deeper in that, because one of the questions somebody might have listening to this is, okay, come on, Carlie, what does the role of core purpose play in team culture? Like, is that really that important? What about pay and hours? Like, now I got to be talking about core purpose. Can you speak to that?
I think so. Pay and hours and schedule and whatever else, that's kind of all the fluff that's on top. And that's the stuff that can be changed, right? This core purpose is really about the alignment of, I mean, whether you're a sole business owner and you want the direction of like your North Star of where you're going to share with your team members and have motivation for them to say, this is where we're going. Or if you're in a partnership and still need that alignment together and then share it with the team again. So ultimately, it needs to be very clear, very well defined. And it should be an inspiration to the team and people around you.
Yeah, totally agree. Let's go a little bit further into like the decision making. So, and we're going to really drive this home on the core purpose, because no one has made more mistakes ever than me in business. I'm number one in that category, and I'm easily distracted. I've been many times easily distracted in more than 25 years of doing this. Is like, ooh, something cool comes along, and then you chase it, and then you go, it just didn't feel good. Like that. Why would I even consider that? And the truth of it is, because I couldn't diagnose it earlier, was it didn't fit the core purpose. But let's talk about how a strong, like really good core purpose can improve your decision-making process as you age.
Yeah, absolutely. Like you said, it improves the decision-making process. It improves the alignment, and it improves the long-term goals. And you need to share it with everybody, have it be very clear. So if you are going in the wrong direction, like you just said you've done before, you have team members or a partner or somebody else saying, hey, no, come back over here. That doesn't align with our vision, our purpose in the business. So knowing what those are and having them at the forefront of your mind, it makes it so much easier. And it has some kind of like autonomy with team members too, that have them be able to come to you, and you have that relationship because you both have this shared core purpose about what you're doing. And it helps them really stand up and say, hey, Kirk, you're not going the direction you said you were going to. Yeah. What's going on?
Yeah, and you'll screw up. No one's ever perfect. And again, you'll continue to screw up, but you'll screw up less, I hope. I'll give you a great example. So when we moved to Milwaukee and we built our training facility, which I think is state of the art, it's awesome. We use it for our To the Top Study Club and our events. But I have a lot of friends, like at the Dawson Academy, at Global Diagnosis, and all of these people that I love dearly that are great educators. They're like, man, this is a cool facility. Would it be possible to like, rent out your facility? I'm like, heck yeah, come on in, man. And we create something for them. Well, a lot of them have their courses on Fridays or Saturdays and types of thing. And so, of course, I'm like, come on in, do your thing here. Well, we got tech support here. And so Andy, who's amazing here, Julie, who's amazing here, they're all in attitude. They're like, yeah, I don't mind. Well, after doing it a few times, they're like, that was a whole Saturday. And then they go, better practice, better life. And I'm like, oh, crap. That's right. So it's like one of those things like we can't do it. It can't do it because it does feel icky. When you go against your core purpose, you're going to feel it. It's going to be like a deep subjective pain that you can't really diagnose. You're going to be like, that doesn't feel right type of a thing. So hopefully as your business grows, it introduces more complexity, more things that are going to come your way, more opportunity. And it's really hard to say no. It's really hard to say no, but it's easier to say no when you're like, that's not what we do. Darn it.
The decision fatigue is a real thing, right?
Yeah.
You, as a business owner, you're making decisions all the time. You have decisions in your business. You have decisions in your personal life, kids, just everything, right? And so many decisions coming at you. It's an easier decision to make when you have that purpose behind it and you can say nope. Or, if you made a decision, the incorrect decision, I guess, a little quicker if you know it goes against that core purpose.
Yeah.
And you can.
Love it. Okay. So how do I define my core purpose? Like, let's go into the details. How do I do this?
Okay. So we here at ACT have a 5 whys exercise is how we start with defining the core purpose. So it kind of starts with something along the lines of we provide excellent dentistry, ... or our core purpose is to ... We value, maybe not value because we have our core values, but something along the lines of what do we provide? What's our purpose? What are we doing here? And we have to ask, why is it important to provide excellent dentistry? So why do we see that important? You take it the next level. Why is it important again? And then you keep asking yourself why as you kind of uncover different roots of why you're doing what you're doing. And you discover like a deeper sense and a deeper purpose, which is really the core purpose that should come alive and come out and be your core purpose that stays consistent.
Yeah. As you start to do this exercise that Carlie has mentioned, we see so many people go, well, we provide excellent dentistry for the individual. And as you start to ask why, you'll see it becomes more special. It becomes more unique. And it also brings a ton more energy, and you can just feel the evolution of it. I think a big piece of this is you got to be patient and actually follow the process. I'm going to try to remember the first tagline we had at Ecto. I can't remember. It was like helping every dental individual find their way along in practice and blah, blah, blah. It was like 6 sentences. And then I actually worked with somebody that helped me define my core purpose. And it took several months. I'm not kidding. Like it was a couple months and he's like, okay, you're using too many words. Why do you really, why? And the process that he took me through is exactly the way Carlie described it. And he stopped me in mid-sentence. He's like, stop talking. And I was like, what? He's like, better practice, better life. That's why you exist. I was like, yes, that's true. Because I was trying to explain, like, I want people to have a life and I want them to produce more and I want them to be more profitable and I want them to have a great schedule. And he's like, no, what you do is you help people's practices get better. And what really happens is they get a better life. And I'm like, that's exactly. And he's like, okay, trim it up to as few words as possible. The goal in this is you want to say more with fewer words. So keep trying, keep working with it. And sometimes you do need the help of somebody else that can help you do that. And so when we landed on better practice, better life, and again, I'm just giving you that example because this is how powerful it was for us. I was like, at the end of the day, it's got to check 2 boxes and everything we got to do is follow that filter. And everybody here watches me like a hawk, like to make sure that I actually believe in that and that I follow it, right?
Absolutely. And like you said, it should not be very long. It should not be ideally more than 1 sentence. I mean, ACTS is a phrase. I don't think everybody in dentistry's core purpose is going to be just kind of a phrase like that. But 1 sentence, maximum 2, but the shorter, the better, because you want to just get that purpose across. Short, sweet, to the point. It doesn't need to be like detailed, like as to the point as it can be, I would say.
Yeah, absolutely. And use really simple, clear language, inspiring language that people can get their brain around. I don't, excellence for me is a tough word because my definition of excellence and yours are going to be different. They just are. Better practice, better life. That's really simple. Wherever you are right now, it's going to be better. Do you know what I mean? I'm going to totally beat this up, but Pete Dawson's was making good dentists better. Like that's the purpose of the Dawson Academy, is making really good dentists better. That's it. It wasn't making them masters. Like that's really tough to define. And some people would disagree that that's not a master. So make sure it has a lot of power and purpose. It's got to be timeless. Like it's got to stand the test of time. Think about this. If you were to build this practice for 100 years, I know you wouldn't want to do that, but like you would do it right. You would have core values. You would have really good principles that drove it. And I'm telling you, when you think long-term, doing it the right way, the benefits go way beyond. So make sure that it truly is timeless, that no matter what happens in the world, even if we had another pandemic, God, I hope that doesn't happen, it would still make it. You know what I mean? And it's got to be inspirational, not only to you, but it's got to be more than profitability or operations. It's got to connect with the world. My hope is that your core purpose would people would go, well, didn't you go to dental school? Yeah, I did. So we do that through dentistry. You know what I mean? Type of a thing.
It should have your passion come out and have your passion be shared and kind of have it, your like flag in the ground being like, this is what I do. It's inspiring, showing your passion, having it clear, simple. You want it to connect with the heart and like the why of the company, why it exists, why you're here, why you're doing what you're doing.
Yeah.
It's really important to have that kind of in the ground of like, this is it.
I'm so glad you said that because the journey was true for me. And again, I'm just sharing this to give you some perspective, that the wordy core purpose that I started with, which was a mission and vision statement that was really long. I think our vision statement was like 2 full pages in like a Word document. And somebody read it and they're like, oh my gosh, this is a lot of words. My core purpose when I started working, I didn't really like to share it and I didn't remember it. And I'm like, and I almost used this voice to describe like what it was. And so now with the help of like what Carlie's talking about, when you really put it in place, you're excited to share it. I love it when young people ask me like, what's this all about? I'm like, I'm so glad you asked. And I said this in the last podcast and I'll say it in this one. I challenge you. If you're ever in Milwaukee, come by the office. You don't need an interview. You don't need an appointment. If I'm not on a podcast or whatever, and you go, hey, can I have a tour? I'll give you the greatest tour ever. And I'll send so much energy into your brain about why we do what we do and how we do it. It's like my favorite thing. It's like, so, and my hope is that you or one of your team members in your dental practice would be equally excited. It starts with your core purpose. Anything you would add, Carlie?
I would say last thing, it is an internal statement, right? And like you said, if anyone wanted to come into ACT, you'd be so excited to share them about it. And it can definitely be public too. I think it's both. And it's really important that it's both. And it's talked about internally and it's really lived and shown publicly.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I completely agree. It's more for an internal than it is external or finding patients. The internal aspect of it is the power. It synchronizes your actions, your decision making. You're going to find that the more you lean into core purpose and really have it come alive, the higher quality of people you will attract to be part of your team. They're going to say things like, I want in. Like, this is a pretty cool place to work. And so there's a mountain of opportunity in coming to core purpose. Any last thoughts, Carlie, on this before I just take over the podcast and talk incessantly about core purpose for the next 20 minutes? Because I absolutely believe in it.
I would say the core purpose, the main takeaways would be staying consistent, having it be kind of your guiding light, your North Star, sharing it with your team members, your patients, having it be inspirational, and starting with that 5 whys exercise. That's going to be a little uncomfortable, and you might have to take it to several different stages, right? Like you said, most people don't get their core purpose the way they want it the first time. So keep asking yourself that why. Keep taking it one step further until you get it where you really want it.
Absolutely. And so the tool that Carlie's referring to, we actually have a tool. It's called the 5 Whys tool. If you're in the BPA community already, you'll see it back there and you can use it. It's an awesome tool to help you develop it. And if you're not in BPA, what are you thinking? Like, come back here and hang out with us. And if you just want a copy of it, one of the things we like to do is just be helpful. You can email us at info@actdental.com, and we'll send you a copy of the 5 Whys tool. It's a great team meeting exercise. You can say, listen, let's develop our core purpose. It's going to walk you through the whole process, and just follow the tool and you'll see every step that you do will add more clarity. So great stuff. Thanks for being here, Carlie.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me. I love this stuff. So I hope everybody gets their purpose all good to go and they learned something today.
Amen. Amen. We'll stick around while we say goodbye to everybody else. But thank you guys for listening to the Best Practices Show podcast. The goal, again, is to help you create something super special in your practice so you guys have a better practice and a better life. The core purpose, I'm just here to tell you, it works. I heard that for the core purpose first time and I was like, yeah, whatever. And now I know more than ever, it's powerful. So step into it. It truly works. Keep sending us suggestions for things you guys want to see. We're going to be lining them up. We have an amazing fall and winter programming lineup. I can't wait to share it. So until we see you guys next time or you hear from us next time, keep watching or keep listening to the Best Practices Show. You guys enjoy your day.